my name is Alex and welcome to another Let's Talk, where I talk about all things queer that have interested me in the past week. So let's get into this week's Let's Talk. Alright, let's start off this week with One Day at a Time. So, let me tell you, One Day at a Time has got to be the most requested show that I watch ever. And I'm not even lying. So, I mentioned last week's video, that I was in the process of watching One Day at a Time. I'd gotten like halfway through the season and I was going to talk about this week, which I've finished One Day at a Time, so I'm going to talk about it. But even despite mentioning it in last week's video, people were still commenting in the comment section that I should watch it, and if I had watched it, which, I mean, it just indicates how excited people were for this show. I mean, even on Twitter and Tumblr, where I've also posted about it, people were tweeting me and sending me messages on Tumblr telling me that I need to watch the show. So, yes, I have watched the show. Don't get me wrong, I love how excited and enthusiastic people were about this show. I am equally as enthusiastic. So, which is why I want to say how much I love this show. So first and foremost, if you haven't seen it, I absolutely recommend watching it. One, it's so funny. It's really, really funny. Like, I don't know if I've laughed that much from a show in the longest time. It is just really, really funny stuff. It's also really, really cute. Like, the family sort of storyline, it's just, it hits so close to home. The mum reminds me so much of my mum, and I loved it so much. We also have one of my favorite characters, Elena, in the show, who is the daughter. She is amazing. She is adorable. I love her so much. But she also has this coming out storyline throughout the whole season 1, which is amazing. I loved the coming out storyline, and I loved, how the family reacted to her coming out and stuff like that. It's very real, but it's also very uplifting, the story. Don't get me wrong, there were times where I was like in tears. It gets to your feels. It really gets to your feels in some parts. But overall, good times. So yeah, Elena, she is just, throughout season 1, she's figuring out her sexuality, and I love her, and just everything about her I love, and I am hoping so much for season 2, and I'm hoping for like a female love interest, because we didn't get one this season, unfortunately, but I did like that it was just sort of like, it was her coming out, you know, it wasn't a relationship, like a coming out story just purely for a relationship. It was a coming out story for her character, which I liked. But I would also really like a female love interest for her in season 2. I think that would be really, really cute. So fingers crossed I get a season 2. I don't know if anything's been mentioned about a season 2. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I really do hope for it, because the writing is just amazing. Like I said, overall it's a really, really like uplifting, fun, hilarious show, but there were definitely moments that hit so close to home and just like tugged at my heartstrings. Like that last episode, I was so emotional. So yeah, all the love for One Day at a Time. I love it so much, and there's only 13 episodes, and I went through it so quickly. Yeah, I was unprepared for it to end. Like, it got to that last episode, and I was, like, super emotional. I was like, wow, this is a really emotional episode. And then that was the end. I was like, what? No! So yeah, again, if you guys haven't seen it, you have to do yourself a favor and watch it. One Day at a Time. It is on Netflix. The whole season 1 is on Netflix, so go binge watch it right now. It's amazing. Alright, so the next thing that I want to talk about is not good news. It made me a little upset to read. So, let's put into some context what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Riverdale. So it's not out yet. This TV show is not out yet. It is premiering on the 26th of January, I believe. I'm getting the date right. I don't know. It's near the end of January sometime, at the very least, if it's not the 26th. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of excited for it. I had it on my watch list to look out for, because a little while ago, it must have been like a few weeks ago, it was in 2016 sometime, there was this leaked spoiler going around Twitter, like a video going around Twitter, And I'm sure it must have been taken down now because it very clearly was not supposed to be out. It was, I'm assuming, taken off a screener that has gone out to the press and has been leaked somehow. Anyway, so this clip that was going around Twitter was of two main characters, Betty and Veronica, and they were like making out in it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Of course, I would be like that. Anyway, so do I explain what happened in the clip first or after? I'll explain what happened in the clip first. So essentially what happens in the clip, as we've seen in some like sort of pictures or teasers, Betty and Veronica, they're like in yellow gym clothes, I guess, and they're trying out for something, I'm assuming cheerleading, right? And the judges, these cheerleader chicks that are judging them, don't look too impressed. And then the brunette chick, I don't know which one she is, Betty or Veronica, to be honest, but the brunette chick essentially grabs the blonde chick and says something along the lines like, just go with it, or don't freak out, something like that. Something that we've heard a million times before. And then they have like this magical kiss, and the brunette smirks after it. The blonde is just shocked but seemed into it. And then that was the end of the clip. So that was the clip that was going around Twitter. And I would link it in the description if I find it, but I really doubt that it's still out there. I'll have a look around anyway. Okay, so that's what got me intrigued in Riverdale. I was like, okay, maybe there is like a queer storyline that they're going with from the get-go, which I was really interested in because, I mean, let's be honest, the girls were gorgeous and I was curious. So I put that down on my watch list. But this week, so it's the TCA, is it? One of the actresses at this was interviewed and she mentioned this kiss and that storyline, I guess. So she essentially shot down the idea of them having a romantic relationship, which in itself isn't that bad, right? But it's what she says in this sort of interview to shoot it down, which kind of made me feel really gross and makes me want to avoid this show now. So I'm going to read off like a little snippet. So she says, there's a group that very, very much wants it. It's in our show. They're not romantically involved. They're soulmates in a friend's way. Our show is not meant to be fan fiction. We give them a taste of it when they kiss, but that's all of it. People love Veronica, and they want to see them together, but that's just not our show. So what really just did not sit right with me was the fact that they called our female-female relationship fan fiction. Like, they essentially said, that would just be fan fiction. It's not a legitimate storyline, which really did not sit very right with me. And it kind of, it really, really turned me off the show. Because not only does that, like, shoot down Betty and Veronica, which, okay, fine. If they're not in a relation, then that's, that's up to the writers. But it also shoots down any other female-female relationship or storyline that could potentially be in the show, because they essentially just see that as fan fiction. So that, I just wanted to give you guys a warning in case you guys were interested or invested because of this. Clearly they know that people are into Betty and Veronica as a ship. People are excited for it. And they're very aware that putting that kiss in the teasers and stuff like that is getting people excited for the show and getting them to watch it. But they're just baiting. They clearly say that they're not invested in following through with that teasing. And it really does not sit right with me that they're very, very aware that people want it, and they're very, very happy to tease and play around with it, but they're not interested in investing any sort of time or effort into that sort of storyline, because to them it's just fan fiction. So I'm staying away from that show. I don't know. It really set a really gross tone for me. I won't be watching it from the get-go. I'll be waiting to see if Tumblr or Twitter has anything better to say after it starts airing. But I'm not counting on it, to be honest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Let's Talk. I do want to say a quick shout out to Sophie, who I spent a whole heap of time redesigning my Let's Talk logos in the thumbnail, as you guys probably saw. It's gorgeous. I love it. So thank you so much. I'm going to put her Twitter in the description because she is amazing and she helped out so much with that. But yeah, that's about it from me. I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.